Good morning, folks. Welcome to this episode of the Injured Sea Bass podcast. For those of you that are watching on video, you're able to see this uh, giant monstrosity of a dressing on my left arm. On the 17th of this month, I had a surgery done on my left elbow. I needed to have my cubital nerve worked on. For those of you that saw the Facebook Live about it, the cubital nerve is essentially the nerve when you hit your elbow on the table or hit your elbow on something and your entire arm tingles and goes dead. It's also known as your funny bone. Well, it's not a bone at all. It's that nerve. So I've had carpal tunnel surgery done on both hands. You can see the scar on that one that's kind of gnarly on my right. I've had that done on both hands to help some nerve issue there. And now on my left elbow with this cubital nerve. Folks, let's be clear. Surgery is not pleasant. It's not comfortable. It's not fun. There's nothing super exciting about it other than the prospect that you might get relief of whatever ailment you're suffering from. Surgery itself is not fun. And now it might have been fun for my recovery team in the recovery room. We have found out over the recent past that when I'm exposed to anesthesia and I'm put to sleep, that I become exponentially more funny when I wake up, and I become exponentially more vulgar when I wake up. The saying, "It just makes you more of who you are," really shines, and it tells me as well that I have to put a lot of effort into into censoring myself when I'm actually fully conscious and in control of my thoughts. Um, by all accounts, I'm not sure that they kept track, uh, but several staff members said it's the most gratuitous use of the F word they've ever they've ever experienced. And I said, please tell me I wasn't rude to you. And they're like, oh no, you weren't. No, you weren't rude. You were nice. You were pleasant. You just used the F word a lot. So for those folks, I'm sorry. I appreciate you. Thank you for your work. Thank you for making sure that I didn't die in the recovery room. Thank you. Thanks for taking good care of me. As far as surgery result goes, um, I don't have any burning pain in my forearm anymore. I don't have any burning pain in the palm of my hand anymore. Um, right now, all I've got is just a little bit of surgical site soreness, which my surgeon said, he actually called me at home the day after and followed up with me, which I appreciate. Um, and he asked how I was doing, and I described to him what was going on and how I felt. And he's like, I think you might be doing even a little better than what's typical. And I hope that's the case. I'd like to get better quickly. I'd like to not be hurt for so long. And the big thing is, I want to go back to work. Um, I know that I am a better husband and father when I'm working, when I'm actively engaged. Like in my intro here, the podcast gives me an outlet. It gives me a way to focus some energy. It gives me a way to just have some expressive outlet, and hopefully, that through recovery, which my surgeon is saying can be up to 6 weeks. Um, I can have some creative outlet through this and really do some good work here. Now, in terms of Is this a long-term fix? Yes, this is meant to be a long-term fix. This is meant to be a definitive fix. So not only did the surgeon go in there and do a release like you would with carpal tunnel, he also had to reposition the nerve. He had to transpose the nerve. He had to move it. And I asked him. I said, "So did you stitch it? Did you pin it? Like I don't know. Yeah, I'm a nurse, but I'm not a surgeon." So he described it to me pretty well. He's like, I had to make a pocket inside of the soft tissue inside of the elbow and stuff the nerve stuff the nerve inside of it. So yeah, everything's going pretty well for right now. I feel really good. I'm, you know, let's see, I had surgery on the 17th. Today's the 20th. Uh, Last night, the night before, I took half of my narcotic pain medication just to be able to help me sleep. And through the day, I'm taking Tylenol and ibuprofen for pain management. So I'm I'm very grateful to skilled physicians and skilled surgeons and skilled healthcare people that take care of us even during what's being called a pandemic. I'm grateful to those folks who come into work and do the job that they do to help others, to relieve suffering, to bring a little bit of life back to people's lives. As you know, I'm an ER nurse. I have to have the use of my hands in order to work, and uh, this time off is going to be hard for me because I like to work. I like being productive. I like being useful, and being gimpy like this is really difficult for me. Um, I have a really hard time sitting still. Several several of my friends would say that I have ADD or ADHD just because I have such a difficult time sitting still and being able to uh, focus on one thing at a time. Yeah, I might agree with them. I don't know. Uh, I've never I've never been tested. I've never been diagnosed. I'm pretty sure I don't care that I if I did have ADD or ADHD, if it mattered at all, what would I care? It doesn't. I mean, I wouldn't. It wouldn't change my life for anything. My life hasn't been negatively impacted by any ADD or ADHD symptoms. Uh, if you're listening and you have ADD or ADHD, I'm happy to entertain comments. I want to hear them. I want to see them. Uh, while we're plugging stuff, you know, like, comment, subscribe, share, link to your friends, tell your friends. Podcast is still in its infancy. We're trying to up our listener count. We're trying to up our watch count. We're trying to make this thing grow. Since the 14th, when I first um, since the 14th when I first launched video and audio. I'm up to about 85 views on YouTube, and I've got a whopping 9 listens on Anchor Podcasts, which is who I'm using to do the distribution for my audio. Folks, it helps. Like, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends. YouTube, because we're so young still, and I've got a whopping 85 views. I don't get any monetization from them. I don't get any money from them. They don't pay me for the podcast yet. They don't pay me for any of my content yet. I'd like to get there. I'd like to get to a point where I could, where this, eventually becomes my job. Um, but I don't know. Maybe in a month, I'm stuck at 85 views and 9 listens. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I want this to grow. I want this to be successful. Hopefully, people don't come up and say, "Yeah, you suck. You're a terrible host. You don't talk about interesting things at all." Speaking of interesting things, I am hoping to line up several interesting guests in the very near future. Um, on a wide range of topics. We're going to have physicians, we're going to have business leaders, we're going to have podcast leaders. We're there. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff on here, and hopefully going to make it interesting, folks. It is the latter third of November, and I would be really remiss if I didn't say thank you to some folks and express some gratitude while I'm thinking about it. I do plan on doing some Thanksgiving stuff, but today I am especially grateful for healthcare workers. Not and that's not just because I am one. Um, these folks have true. You ask almost anybody in healthcare, and they'll tell you this is what I've wanted to do since I was little, or I felt called to this. I felt drawn to this. This is what I was meant to do. And there's something to be said about folks who feel drawn to something. And there's almost nobody in this world who is more drawn to what they do than folks that are in healthcare. Folks from being nurses assistants, nurses aides, all the way through physicians and hospital administration. These folks are drawn to what they do. They love what they do. These are the folks that Mr. Rogers in our youth would call the helpers. These are the folks who sacrifice of themselves to give us a life that we can live comfortably. I'm grateful for good medicine and being taken care of, uh, and the knowledge that folks have to be able to take this bum elbow that I've had for months and maybe even years and make me a little bit better. Folks, be thankful for what you have. I hope that you have a very wonderful Thanksgiving season and that your turkeys all turn out great. I plan on deep frying mine. I plan on not burning my house down yet again. Everybody always teases me that I'm going to burn my house down. Folks, you have to be dumb to burn your house down using an oil fryer. Now, I'm just going to tell you, they're not made to be used inside. They're not made to be used in your garage. They're not made to be used on your wooden deck out back. Okay? Public service announcement. Oil fryers will burn your house down. That's why you don't use them in or around your house. I never have. I never will. There's 0.00% chance that I will burn my house down deep frying a turkey ever, because I don't get close enough. Here's another pro tip, another PSA for folks that are using oil fryers for this time of year. Turn off the flame when you're putting your turkey in the stupid pot. That way, if for whatever reason you mismanaged the amount of oil in your pot, if any oil spills over, the fire is turned off. You idiot. Turn off the fire. Folks, I am grateful for your listenership. I'm grateful for your viewership. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends. I'm really excited for what's coming up in the future, and I'm excited to keep sharing bits of my life with you. Thanks a bunch.